Hi everyone, Calibre here. Welcome back. Have you ever listened to an influential speaker? What makes them so engaging, so entertaining? Well, most of us are looking for more power or influence in our lives. And one way to achieve that is the acquisition of valuable skills that help us get ahead and achieve our goals. Previously, I made a video about one very powerful set of skills used by Sherlock Holmes that gives you an advantage whenever you're faced with a challenge. I'll link that above. In that video, I liken such skills to a superpower, where you're changing your mindset in order to solve problems. But today I'm talking about a different kind of superpower, one that's more relational than analytical. And that superpower is storytelling. And if you can master it, it'll open up for you a whole new world when it comes to your influence and status among the people in your life. If done well, storytelling establishes deep emotional bonds and connects values, experiences, and convictions between like-minded individuals. Take for instance Steve Jobs, who was himself a master storyteller on a global scale. Jobs is famously quoted as saying, "The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation that is to come." And he used storytelling in the form of sales and marketing to transform Apple into one of the greatest companies the world has ever seen. Think about it. If you're the one who has the most moving, the most persuasive, and the most engaging story, then you're also the one that will have the best chance of influencing your audience. Yes, many of us don't run a multi-billion-dollar company, but even in your daily life, at home and at work, at a dinner party, or teaching your children, you can use stories to be more engaging and more entertaining, strengthening personal connections with the people around you. And the best book I've ever read on the art of storytelling is called Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. It's a book that really opens your mind to a skill that you probably never even knew you had. As usual, I recommend that you get the book for yourself and read it in its entirety. It's packed with practical advice and stories that make the art of storytelling accessible to everyone. And that being said, let's get into it. First, what is storytelling? Well, it probably isn't what you might be thinking. It's not reading a bedtime story to your child, telling people about what you did on your vacation, or what you read in the news. It's about emotionally connecting with another human being by communicating a well-crafted and authentic story, but not just any story. It's a personal narrative that reflects a significant change in your own heart and mind over time. It's an authentic, honest, yet casual story, one that you could tell your friends at a dinner table. By telling your story, your ultimate goal is to touch the heart of your audience, because from their perspective, the story provides a glimpse into your life, a manner by which they can enter your secret, private world. And if you allow someone to connect with you in this way, you greatly expand your influence, credibility, and persuasiveness with that person. But before you can tell a story, you need to have a story to tell. I used to think that my life is too boring, and I had nothing to tell, and certainly nothing that anyone else would be interested to hear. But that just isn't true. Every person in the world has lived their own version of the human experience. At one time or another, we've all felt joy, pain, jealousy, anger, triumph, defeat, and love. We've all dealt with difficult circumstances and people, and at the core of every story is an emotion that underscores a core aspect of our collective human experience. And because that experience is common to every human being, a good story helps you to connect on a deeply emotional level, a level far, far deeper than some kind of logical or quid pro quo type relationship. So how do we harvest great stories to tell from our own lives? One method is called homework for life, a daily practice where you take a few minutes to reflect on significant moments from your day in a sentence or two. It isn't about dramatic moments necessarily. It's about identifying moments that can be mundane or extraordinary, but either way, holding the potential to be story-worthy. Another method is called crash and burn, which is basically stream of consciousness writing. This is where you sit down for 10 minutes and literally write down everything that comes into your mind without filter. The point is to remove constraints and unleash creativity and memories in the rawest form. And the last method is called first, last, best, worst. This is where you write down the first, last, best, worst for a particular prompt, such as your girlfriend, or your car, or your pet. Then, based upon your answers, you come up with a story idea for that particular prompt. And if you use these 3 techniques regularly, you should be drowning in stories in no time. Once you've identified your story, the next step is to craft it effectively. there is one fundamental truth in storytelling. All great stories, regardless of length or depth or tone, tell the story of a 5-second moment in a person's life. That moment must illustrate a fundamental change in your own heart and mind. It could be falling in love, having your heart broken, a moment of enlightenment, a huge decision, or a spectacular failure. But the purpose of the story is to bring that 5-second moment to the greatest clarity possible, to make it shine in the mind of the audience. Remember, although storytelling is not about creating a roller coaster ride of excitement, the stakes do need to be high enough to make it compelling. Those high stakes are the reason the audience wants to listen to the story. They want to know what happens next. Equally important, because human beings can detect a phony or half-baked story, is that you need to be raw and honest in your storytelling. You want to bridge the gap between you and another person by creating a space of authenticity, vulnerability, and universal truth. And that's what creates a deep and meaningful human connection. The last part of the book provides various performance techniques and how to tell the story so that you can enhance it and help you avoid pitfalls. For example, you're to tell the story predominantly using the present tense. This is to keep the story moving, as if the events are actually happening right now in the present, like a movie in the listener's mind. Other quick tips, among many, are to avoid unnecessary vulgarity or profanity, avoid rhetorical questions, and never use props or accents. Obviously, you need to practice the story, rehearse it multiple times to get comfortable telling it. Mostly, the performance of the story, whether on stage or in a boardroom, or in a classroom, or when you're on a dinner date, comes down to controlling your emotions, making eye contact, and speaking in a natural, authentic voice. So, whether you're looking to improve your public speaking, connect better with others, or just generally improve your communication skills, to me, Storyworthy is a must-read. Famous director Kevin Smith once noted that anytime a person is speaking to a group of people, in any context, the speaker has a duty and obligation to be entertaining. Now, this is not entertaining like a dancing monkey, but as a genuine and relatable person, someone who connects with people through emotion. Nothing in the book is rocket science. It's a very accessible and achievable way to improve your social skills naturally and subtly. And the potential possibilities and applications are endless. For example, you're an engineer that needs to improve communication skills to get that promotion. You're on a date, and you want to emotionally connect with the love of your life. You're in a job interview, and you only have a few minutes to impress your interviewer. You're a marketer trying to develop a national campaign for your new product, like Steve Jobs did for the iPhone. You're a teacher and you want to engage your students so they'll pay attention and learn. In almost every interaction in life, sharing your story just may be the best way for you to inspire, inform, encourage, empathize, and connect. And let's face it, the world is filled with boring, uninteresting people. If you could use these techniques to become more interesting, why wouldn't you? Why not make yourself stand out by activating your storytelling superpower? It's the best way to improve your relationships, strengthen your connections, and increase your influence with those around you. So get out there and start telling your story. The world is waiting. Peace.